So this is a new 8x door that I made. It's 6 wide. It's also small and uses a lot of entities and droppers and hoppers, especially on top. Here's the closing. My closing's kind of slow, but I like this one. So yeah. There's a little bit of cooldown, so you wait for this hopper here, which is done, but you also have to wait for this one. So I want to quickly just go over stuff about the door. So the door is 12 blocks long, 6 wide obviously, and 23 blocks tall, making it a volume of 1,656 blocks, which is also technically the smallest 8x8 door that uses the original layout of a sextuple on top, no pun intended, and a quad on the bottom. So yeah. The door does not use any mobs, which I'm happy about, and it uses 30 entities. 3 are not needed, it just makes the door faster. So these 3 furnace minecarts are not needed, it just makes the door slightly faster, the bottom wise. There's also another soul sand on the top here, which has a weird minecart thing where it has to go from this hopper here into this hopper, but it can't point into the soul sand because the server is stupid and it's bugged out. So this hopper tries to put the item in the block, so I just built this instead, and this works. So I'm just gonna keep it like this and not make any other fix for it. So yeah, this should be the whole door reset. Let me quickly check on this, cause good. Okay, so the door takes a little bit to like actually start like this, so just to retract and takes a little bit, and then it gets right into it. It starts like extending, and you can see the bottom's gonna kick in at the right time, so right about now. There's the top, because the top has to perfectly push in the blocks. So now, this little thing here is just because of that. I'll just take this code about hihi, so it's like really therapy. And he also held it in a past version that was about 2 years ago, and this is the bottom. So about 2 years ago we started this project, me and him, but then it died. Because the server that we were building it on, the part of the server that we were building on, died, so the door got like lost forever. But hihi got it back, and the door was broken. So yeah, hihi had to do other stuff, so I basically just built the entire door myself, except for the tape on the bottom closing. So yeah, this little long part can't really be fixed because of how this thing up here works. I shall show you again when I get to that part. So it's doing the final sextuple assembly. So should be ready right now. So this is what kind of takes a little while because of how this is actually used. So that little kind of part where it goes from like the quint part level all the way up to here, so when the pistons go from here all the way up into there, yeah, this is what this hopper timer is used for. So basically, when all the items leave, it sends 1 pulse, but then we have to wait a little bit, like at least 5 ticks or more. I think it's like 7. So we just use 7 hopper timer, and it's slow because we need to wait for all the items to reset. So then this, and then it kicks in to this toggle here, which does the rest. You can see it working on the top, and it derps. And yeah, so that's the whole door. 2 other cool things that I like about the door is the positioning of 2 different minecarts. Well, yeah, just one. Yeah, so these 2 minecarts here, Instead of using a furnace minecart here, I use a chest one because it's part of a loop, as you can see. So this hopper goes into here. But I also use a chest minecart to limit it. But this chest minecart's also pushed into a chest. It could also be an anvil, but I just did the chest for the memes because a chest minecart is pushed into a chest, which is limiting a chest minecart, which is all part of the same loop. So yeah. Then there's a semi 8-stage dropper loop in here. So this dropper gets like when this comparator turns off and then turns back on again, the item will go into this dropper here, and then during the double retraction it goes up to here, and then it just gets put into here, and then this is like just one state, second state, and then the item stays in here for like an extra 6 times because this never gets powered again. So this is this crazy hopper ROM in here, with this being subtracted to this, but this being compared to the same thing. But yeah. So that's pretty much the whole door. One more thing. This is slider here. I came up with like almost 3 years ago. So that's the only reason why this works 6 wide. Also, you could probably cut the bottom layer off, but it'd be extremely difficult because you'd have to have 4 storage on the bottom because of you'd have to have like 4 storage and like under the floor. The 5th is in the floor. Basically because if this dust line wasn't here and this storage was here, this one here, it would just be a repeater line, and then this observer could just be a dust line powering these pistons. But because we don't have a repeater input for the pistons under these observers, we use the observers. That also means adding an extra row to the bottom, which means adding an extra row in general. But if you do cut the layer off the bottom, which is the only layer you could really cut off, while still keeping it 6 wide, you get a volume of, I believe, is 1,584. So that's the whole door. I'm just going to show opening and closing. I will be doing a tutorial on this soon. I forgot to mention one thing. The door is, for some reason, unreliable. I think it's just the server, because Synergy works on paper, but this is, if you look in F3, it's, hold on. It's bungee cord, so it's not paper. So that might be why it's inconsistent and breaks, but I honestly don't know. But it doesn't break that rarely. But if it does break, I'll fix it with these redstone blocks. I just don't like that because there's a specific timing with this updater here, and then this retracting up here. So that's actually what this dropper loop here is used for. This whole thing in there. But yeah, stay tuned for the tutorial. I'm probably going to do an explanation with that as well. If you don't want the explanation, just the tutorial, I could just do 2 separate videos if you want. So this is the opening. I'm just going to stop talking, and if the door breaks, I'll just fix it. So I'll just go to the back side while it opens. So this is it opening. So if it breaks, I will fix it. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'm just gonna shut up and fix it if it breaks. This is where you can actually see where it takes a while here. I don't like this at all, that it takes a while, but I can't do much about it. Well, the rest of it goes, and it's being really slow. I'm gonna try to upload a lot this week because I have some builds that I want to get out that want to show to the world because they're really cool. Yeah, and if you subscribe and get me to 100 subscribers, then I will present you something amazing and something that's going to kill all of my brain cells if I get it done. Just in case it breaks. So sometimes you really have to retract and leave the piston down to here. So I've only had that happen like twice, ever. During the testing of the door. And the building of it. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see cool redstone builds that might suck sometimes because of the entities. And if I haven't mentioned yet, this door uses 30 entities. Yeah. And none of them are mobs. So they're all minecarts. And one armor stand in there. So yeah, that's it. Let's finish. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Okay.